What's up, John? How you
Yes,
doing?
sir. What's going on, man?
Good,
Long time
good.
no talk,
Dude,
Mayor.
I'm making, well, we just talked like 30 minutes ago, but
That's
uh
true. To me, it's a long time because I miss you.
exactly. But I'm
Yeah.
excited for everyone and everyone watching this. Welcome to the show. We got another podcast. The last one I did with Donovan, a lot of people got value from it, so wanted to make another one with John. John, damn, like if you want to make money, you need to watch this thing till the end. If you can't watch this thing till the end, then sorry, you're not gonna make a lot of money, okay? Because not just John, he's very entertaining, but he's done a lot of stuff in a lot of different things. Today, we're gonna talk about how he's made a ton of money just in the short amount that he did real estate and all that stuff, and making 30,000 real estate in a single month and all this stuff. But also, what he's going to share, and we're both going to share with you, are the tools that really we both have used to really crush it. And doesn't matter any industry we go into, right, John? And also we're gonna make
Mhm.
another one where in insurance he did that, and within 4 months doing what was 100,000 in premiums in like 4 months or something, like crazy, right? And and so we'll do another one as well. But the reason I wanted to do this with John is because he's one, a great example of someone that you can do what he did because he has a success that you want. He's made the type of money, right? And I know he seems very humble and everything, but like this guy's printed money, right? And also, a lot of people who are successful, and John, you've met a lot of people, they don't really share how they really got that success or what they're doing behind the scenes to make it work. What are the tools they're using? What are the mentors they have access to? They don't share any of that. But what we are going to share with you today is essentially the tools that we use to achieve these things, but also how you can do it for yourself. Does that make sense? So I'm excited to get into this, John. How you feeling? You ready?
Feeling good, man. Been ready.
Let's
Been
do it.
waiting quite some time for this podcast, man. So
I
ready
bet.
to get started.
I
Yes,
know.
sir.
John is busy, but I appreciate you putting the time. So first thing, well, first let's get started and share a little bit of your background of before you even use the tools that we're going to talk about, whatever. Like, who were you? What were you doing? And what were the struggles of, like, why were you not making it, and what kind of changed? So share a little bit about your background before you even got into real estate and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Great question. And yeah, man, I mean, for myself, it's, pretty similar story to a lot of people who, just get started in entrepreneurship. So a little bit of background about me. I grew up, was always a shy kid, very anxious. I just never really had confidence in myself in just so many different areas of my life, right? And for me, as I was getting older, just felt like I had this, fixed mindset where I never thought that I can break out of that shell, right? Where I was always have a lack of confidence, was always insecure, and
Yep.
never felt that I could achieve anything, right? And then fast forward when I turned 18 or after high school, I decided to get into, sales, because being an introvert, I knew that I had to do something to just like push myself to build that confidence. Whereas I was doing that for about 2 years, worked at like retail sales for T-Mobile,
Mm-hmm.
built a little bit of confidence, definitely did get a lot better,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew that there was something missing, right? There was always something missing because there would be times where I would still get shy. I would still lack the
Yeah.
confidence, right? It's crazy how that happens, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then, fast forward from 2020 during COVID, that's actually when I started my entrepreneurial journey, right? I got laid off from T-Mobile, and then I was just like at that time, everybody had a lot of time,
Yeah.
right? To just figure something out, do research. I was going down like a whole rabbit hole of like business, how to make money, just how to improve myself. That's where I got into self-development as well, right? So I got into my first business. It was like e-commerce, done Amazon FBA,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool. I was really excited. I was like the brand new entrepreneur. You know how when you first get into like it's like a business venture, you're like, oh shit, I can be
I'm
fucking
under.
rich. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get. It's like, damn, I'm finally able to like get like escape the rat race, right?
Right.
And make like $10,000 a month, make six figures a year, travel the world, financial freedom, retire my family. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. It's
Yeah.
finally time to like break off those shackles, right? Or just break the chain. And then like little did I know, dude, I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Right? Like I had like the I was just so excited, right? I thought like business wasn't what I thought it was
Hmm.
like when I first got into it. Like because I would see like a bunch of these ads online that literally say, all right, guys, here's how you can make $10,000 in a month within the first month with no experience,
Yeah.
right? I literally bought into that whole idea,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, damn, is it really that easy? I'm like, wait, what? Shit, sign me up, bro. So, from there I was like, going ham, bought a course, did Amazon FBA. I
Hmm.
found my first product within like a week,
Hmm.
right? Like and then I was so excited. It normally takes people like a month to find a good product. But for me, because I was so excited, I just rushed into it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I launched my product within the first week. It
Mhm.
was like just like, cat backpack and
Okay.
I didn't choose it because I liked it. It was more so because like
It was.
data, right?
Yeah.
But but keep in mind, because I rushed it, I it didn't turn out too well. It was a flop,
Mm.
right? But for me, because I was so excited and because I was so attached to that business and that product, I kept trying to make it work for a whole year,
Damn.
right? And then, as you know, not knowing much about business and just not knowing better, I was in the red. I was never profitable. Lost about 70 to $80,000 within that year.
Wait.
And it,
As you were losing money and it wasn't working because you were excited, you were like, F it, I'm just gonna keep going. Because I think that's a lot
yeah,
of people are in there. I was there. It's like my life is not working, but that positive thinking, it's like you just keep going down the hole and
yeah,
just blame myself. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to clarify that because it's like, yeah, it's not like it was working, like you said, 70, 80 grand in debt and you were just going because you're like, I'm doing it, you know?
yeah,
This is it. Okay.
yeah, 100%, dude. It was more so like doing things based on emotions, like not logic, like
Mm,
not using common sense. You
mm.
know, if I were to turn back and did it again, I would have done much longer product research, would have done way better due diligence. But you live and you learn. $70,000 is an expensive lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
then yeah, what I'll share as well, like fast forward,
Hmm.
being the young, being a new entrepreneur, I because I saw that Amazon wasn't working, I saw another opportunity online, like affiliate marketing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I'm like, shit, it looks easy. These guys say you can make 10,000 a month. It's the best online business that anybody can do.
Yeah.
Like they even said in an ad, they're like, all right, guys, if you're drop shipping, you're doing Amazon, stop that right now. So I'm like, wait, this could be the one. I'm like, oh shit, it could be the one. I'm like, I knew that Amazon
Yeah.
was not working. So yeah, guess what? Same thing happened. Went into affiliate marketing, got really excited,
Uh,
was doing it for about 4 to 6 months, flops.
really?
The entire thing, dude. And
Yeah.
then guess what, dude? I would do like, bro, I was doing 5 different businesses within that time. It was like back to back to back, right?
Yeah.
I would have the mindset where the grass was greener on the other side.
Right.
That was my mentality. It's like, okay, when you try one thing, it's not working, you see there's something else, like shiny object syndrome,
Gotcha.
right? And
Yeah.
then, yeah, that's pretty much my experience through like entrepreneurship, a little bit about my past.
Okay.
And then when I got into using Technotutor,
So did
right, that's where,
you keep before the real estate and all that stuff, or what was the timeline?
yeah, yeah. So 2020 did like Amazon FBA, 2021 did affiliate marketing.
Hmm.
Um, And I actually tried doing wholesale real estate at that time as well, right? While doing affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, when I was doing that, it was a flop. I
Right.
was like cold calling by myself, I learned everything online about the business,
Mm,
right? Like one man show, like buying the leads, calling them,
Mhm.
doing like my dispositions, calling, sellers and the whole business, right?
Right.
Did it for a whole like 6 months, zero deals closed. Like no deals at all.
Yeah.
I literally spent like 5 to 7 thousand on just a
Yeah.
business alone. And then after 6 months, still nothing at all.
Yeah. And that's a lot
Right?
to some people, right? To a lot,
Yeah.
like just money down the drain type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Hmm.
then around 2021,
Right.
It was October 20th, 2021.
Hmm.
That's when I got a Tech Tutor, right? So that's when I got Tech Tutor. And initially, I didn't expect too much of it, right? So the reason why I got it initially was for that confidence, right? Because at that time, obviously from failing so many businesses, I started like getting lost, right? I started getting lost. I was like, damn, like what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I'm doing everything that these online influencers are teaching me, right? I'm like working 12-hour days on these businesses. Like what's going on,
Right.
you know? And then I actually met Pedro. He's the one that shared Tekken Tutor with me,
I have to pay
right?
for.
At a networking event called the Vault Conference. Right? If you guys know Patrick David, I went to, one of his events and I met him there. And my initial goal for going to that event was to just figure out like what the problem is and what could I do like find a solution per se. So
Hmm.
I was trying to talk to a bunch of different entrepreneurs who have already done it. They've already made the money, they've made the business work, and just try to figure out what they've done that I'm not doing,
Hmm.
right? And that's when I came across Pedro.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing, man, how long ago that was. Like so many changes ever since then.
Crazy.
So I met Pedro. He was like this 18-year-old entrepreneur. I had no idea who he was, but he looks very confident, right?
Yeah.
He looked like a governor level confidence, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I gotta talk to that guy.
Yeah.
So we met during like the break sessions. He sat down, I saw him, shook his hand, and I was sharing with him my story, like what kind of problem I had.
Mm.
And he just told me flat out, he's like, yeah, bro, like you have shitty programming. You know, you don't have the programming to succeed in business, you
Yeah.
know? But I was like, wait, what? Like, what's programming? Am I a robot? Or am I like a computer or something? He's like, yeah, man, like I mean, like he was sharing about how like when you're growing up, like you're programmed by your parents. If your parents haven't made a lot of money, then like
Mm.
you're not gonna make a lot of money as well, right? But fast forward to spoke to Pedro. Actually a month later, we hopped on a call again to reconnect.
Mhm.
That's where he sold me Tech Tutor, right?
Yeah.
Initially bought it for confidence, and at that time, I didn't think much of it. I still was kind of confused, like what this tool was used for. It
Yeah.
was like, wait, when he was talking about programming, he was also talking about like the conscious mind, the subconscious, the unconscious.
Mhm.
And for me, I was already doing a lot of like self-development,
Mhm.
right? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So 2020 to 2021, doing all those businesses, I was still doing a lot of self-development, like reading a lot of books, listening to all the podcasts, going to all the seminars, like Tony Robbins, did like shadow work to try to, get rid of my anxiety
Yeah.
to build a confidence.
Mhm.
You already know that shit did not work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
did not work at all,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
So yeah, I met Pedro, bought Tech and Tutor, and I wanted to test it out, right? So I used it initially for confidence, just had being confident, and yeah, from there, man, I was going to a networking event
Yeah.
where a buddy of mine, he invited me to this like private event where there's like a bunch of established like entrepreneurs making like 8 to 9 figures. And when my friend invited me, I had a lot of like reactions come up, like a lot of fear, like
Mhm.
fear, anxiety, and it was more so I felt like I wouldn't belong there. I didn't belong in that room,
Okay.
right? So I called Pedro. I was like, hey man, like what do I do, bro? I'm like going to this event next week. There's gonna be a bunch of entrepreneurs. I feel so inferior. Like, what do I do? He's like,
Mm,
yeah, bro, I use Tutor. All right, so I used Tutor for that. Went through the process, and then at that time still didn't think much of it.
mm-hmm.
And when I went to the event, I shit you not, right when I walked into the room, I looked around. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like I belong here. Like I just had this like next level confidence where I saw every single person as equals,
Mm,
right? Even though I didn't make as much money as they were, I still saw them as like we're the same. Right.
mm-hmm.
So what I did was I just walked to a bunch of different entrepreneurs, different like multimillionaires, and just had amazing conversations with them. Like amazing conversations, amazing interactions.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy was like I had a bunch of guys shout me out on the stage, right?
Really?
They're like, "Hey, there's a guy, John Tran, 20-year entrepreneur. He's awesome. You guys got to talk to him. He's all about purpose, legacy." And then from there, like everybody just came with me and met me,
Damn.
right? So that's my story about like my first experience using Tutor and
Yeah.
just seeing those changes like pretty quickly, right? When I got back to my room, I called Pedro. I was like, "Dude, Pedro, like,
So that was like
what the
what,
f
in a month or something? Or like
within bro 1 week, 1 week.
yeah.
It was 1 or 2 weeks. It was one or two
Yeah.
weeks.
But that's
Yeah.
crazy. Because, well, so there's a lot of cool stuff. And for a moment, I'm like, shit, I don't want to interrupt because it was a cool story. I'm like listening to myself because there's a, I mean, a lot of the aspects that I resonate within that of like what I like about, what we share with people. And I know that this is going to help a lot of people is we don't it's like a lot of people share this point of they don't come from a lot of money or I don't know, from poverty and then really making it. But something to also consider is a lot of those people, I've met a lot of them. I've met the ones who became hundreds of million worth that came from nothing, but they always had the discipline. They always had the consistency. Like they got the key points from their parents. And then when they got access to the vehicle that worked for them, whether it was real estate or whatever, then they made it work, but they had that foundation. But as I'm sure you agree with this, John, it's like we didn't get, like our parents, like you said, didn't actually, not just didn't make anything or weren't as successful, but we didn't get the right programming to at least succeed ourselves. Because I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm going to go way beyond my parent. And even you watching this, like if you're really self honest, because the reason I am taking the time to make these with the people and the people like John and anyone who I have on that put the time in is because we've learned to get ourselves out of the delusion of thinking that we just have to think positive and that everything's going to work out as long as we do that. And I'm not saying go be negative, but we also have to see the reality of this is where we're at and we need to change to get out of that. And I like what John shared was like, even if, let's say your parents didn't have it, look at how much money and everything John spent, like 70, 80 grand just in that thing, going to all the seminars and all that, that costs money. Doing the other thing, 5 grand. Like all of this takes a lot of money. And it's like he had the same things that someone else used that apparently got the 10,000 a month. But it's why is it that some people, same information, someone makes it and becomes super successful and someone literally becomes broke, right? They go negative.
Mhm.
And I wanted to touch on that and highlight that point so that people watching this, they don't think like, oh, this is just another course or oh, this is another thing. Like that's not what we're sharing. We're really sharing the fundamental thing that can build that foundation for you to succeed no matter what happens, where you go into. And it can happen fast too, which is interesting. But go into more of that. So you got TT, you shared the struggles, you got the TT, you went to that thing. So yeah, now share a little bit of then fast forward how did you so you got introduced to real estate there and how did Techniton help you get to a point where you did the 30K a month? And where do you think other people fail to do that, if that makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I'll share the story about when I was first getting into real estate before Tech and Tutor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when a lot of it has to do with emotional stability, right? Because when you think about it, what actually comes first? Like financial stability or emotional stability,
Emotional, yeah.
right? It's emotional, right? Because you have to do the things that are required in order to get you to the point where you could be financially stable, right? And if you look at it, every single thing we do, whether it's like our business, our job, or whatever career we're in, it's a reflection of us. It's a reflection of who you are as a person, also your emotion within that. Right? Let's say, for example, for real estate, you would have to cold call a lot, right? I was doing a lot of cold calls. That was my very first time even just calling around a stranger on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of like reactions within that. I had the back chat of like, what if they judge me? What if they yell at me? Like, what if they cuss me out? I had a lot of fear of like getting hurt from just calling somebody,
Right.
right? Like what's crazy is they're not even in the same room with me. They're not even physically there. So they can't punch me. They can't like shoot me or something. It's
Yeah.
just like the fear of dying from somebody on the phone. And that just shows you that you're just programmed to like have the fear for doing those things,
Right.
right? And yeah, I guess when I was doing a lot of cold calls, like it was I mean, I started getting better, of course, like after you do some like repetition, and eventually the fear does go away. But then from there, there's like more fears that come up, right? When I would have a call, I would get really close to getting a property under contract, like really close. But right when I'm getting to that point where I'm going to close a deal, it flops. Like I would do something where I would sabotage myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like, oh shit, I've been working so hard. I'm gonna make all this money. Like I hope I don't fuck it up. Right?
Mm.
That's all that was going through my mind. I was like, I hope I don't fuck it up. I hope I don't lose this deal. I put all this work in. Please go perfectly. Just sign the fucking contract, right? But then they never signed. They never signed it. Somebody else took the deal under me,
Mm.
and there were some points where I did get the property signed, but there would be more issues that come up, like all of a sudden,
Mm.
right? Well, those issues came from the lack of emotional stability to do everything properly the first time.
Example of that, would you say?
Yeah, a good example is when you're evaluating a property, when you're doing underwriting, right? You want to make sure the numbers make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because for wholesale real estate, so what you do is you find a property that's distressed, you do like a low ball, you put it under contract, and then you flip the contract to an investor, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll pay you like something called an assignment fee, like
Mm-hmm.
typically around like $10,000 to $20,000. That's in your pocket,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for me, because I was so excited for getting the property signed, I didn't do my numbers properly, and there was zero spread. There was literally zero spread for myself, for the investor. So when I was trying to market the contract for the property, like
Mm-hmm.
there were no buyers that wanted it,
Mm.
right? And then, it just was in the air for like 2 months, and I was wasting my time I was wasting my time from just trying to find buyers, whereas I could have used that time to find more deals,
I
right? But but you see how like not having your emotions in check can affect like your results in any industry,
yeah.
right? For real estate, it could be like it's like little things that you don't even realize, like little things like, oh, you sound nervous on the phone, or you're rushing the process, or maybe you're not doing your numbers properly,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's so small, right? But yeah, that's one example. And here's what I share when I started making money in real estate, right? When I started using Tutor for it. So after I got Tutor, I was still doing different, things I was working on before I got into real estate. I was focusing mainly on like marketing, learning different skills, and that went pretty well as well. That went pretty well, right? But it wasn't something that I really wanted to like do long term. I was more of like a real estate guy, right? Because I've already done it, so I decided to get back into it last year actually, 2023,
Mhm.
right? So in 2023, I got into real estate again. And when I closed my first deal, like I remember exactly what happened too for that phone call, right? It was like a $28,000 deal, right? Profit in my pocket. And when I had that phone call, I was really detached the entire time because I've already used Tekken Tutor for months
Mm.
leading up to it, right? Doing like Tekken Tutor, doing another process called, stuff forgiveness writing to, let go of the baggage and use Tekken Tutor to like program myself, reprogram myself. And for that phone call, like it was a massive deal. It was a huge deal, right? I'm like, damn, this is awesome. But the entire time, I was just very calm, very cool, very collected. I was extremely professional. Like the way I spoke to that person was just like that person could trust me. Like he could trust me right away. There was no anxiety. There was no doubt. I knew I was going to close the deal,
Mhm.
right? But at the same time, I didn't have any emotional attachment to it. I just saw it as like a regular deal, as if I've already done it so many times,
Mm.
right? And lo and behold, close that deal, found a buyer right away, like very quickly.
Yeah.
Numbers made sense. And
Hey.
then within that month, made like $28,000. And
Yeah.
afterwards, at that moment, I didn't really like realize what just happened
Yeah.
until afterwards. I was looking back. I'm like, oh shit. Like I would have never been able to do that. Like my first time doing real estate, right? Like before Tech and Tutor. Like before was just a lot of like way too much like emotions involved,
Right.
right? But for business, you gotta take your emotions out of it. It
Mm.
doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care about like if you're mad or sad or anxious. All it cares about is the inputs and what comes out of it. Inputs and outputs,
That's
right?
awesome. And how
Systems.
did that feel when you had that money come in? Before I ask anything else, how did that feel afterwards when it hit you of like, oh shit, this is actually 28K like in my bank?
Honestly, bro, I was like, at first I was kind of in disbelief,
Mhm.
but I looked at it, I'm okay, it's just numbers. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
So,
just numbers, it's
yeah.
like you don't have to have an emotion within it.
Right.
It's just data.
That's
Yeah.
good. I love it. I
Yeah.
ask because yeah, I mean that's some people's salary like in a year, and that's really the goal. You get to a point where you're just doing it in a month, and you're like, oh, that was nothing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What I'll share as well,
Yeah.
like a few things that helped me get that deal was a lot of work ethic,
Mm.
right? Work ethic that I never had before Tech and Tutor, right? Before that, I was doing real estate. I was only cold calling for 3 hours per day. That's it. Only 3 hours per day, 5 days a week. Of
Hmm.
course, I didn't make any fucking deals, right? There was no like data. There was no like there was no volume to
Right.
even have a higher chance to close those deals. But when I started getting into it again after Tech and Tutor, I was working 10-hour days, 12-hour days. I was working on weekends. I
Yeah.
was waking up early at the same time every single day, working on myself, doing a lot of like listening to podcasts, going on walks,
Like,
exercising every single day, and just having a set routine for myself daily,
yeah.
right? And there were so many times where I would have the thought come up
Mm.
that would try to steer me away from it, right? It'd be like, all right, I wake up, my mind would be like, nah, it's cool, man. You can just
Yeah.
go back to bed. You already made a lot of money. Go back to bed. You've done enough.
Yeah.
But within that, I was able to catch that thought and then redirect it. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm going to get up regardless,
Yeah.
right? But that was only because I programmed myself in Tutor to see those thoughts,
Right.
right? So yeah, I mean, yeah,
No.
there's so much to share, dude. There's
And
honestly so many moving parts, bro. Like a lot of like so much shit in my life that has changed over the past couple years.
yeah.
It's
No,
incredible.
I appreciate it. And obviously, I'm gonna. I know we're getting into it, but I also will put John's social media, whatever, so you can reach out, connect, get to know more of his story. And like Tagna today, I'll tell you more where you can learn more. All this stuff. We'll get into it. Or self forgiveness, like that one is very huge too for me. That was one of the biggest things that helped me go from literally $0 to then making $8,000 profit in a day, and then eventually 12. And I think the most I did was like $3,000 in 2 minutes. You know, at that point I was like, what the hell just happened? You know, but um, I want to get to this point as well because the way I do this podcast or whatever, I put myself in the shoes of like if I was the viewer, because I've seen a lot of podcasts, you've seen a lot of podcasts, all this stuff. And sometimes I'm like, damn, okay, why are they not asking this thing? Because I really want to know about this, or how's this different than that? Or, you know, so me, if I'm the viewer and I'm hearing the story, something that goes through my head is, oh, then okay, the key is I just need to go work 10 hours. I need to then do this. I need to just do the stuff that John did. Like, why do I need all these other tools to then do it? I can just go do what he just shared. I need to go to this event and just pretend that I belong in this. Do you see what I'm saying? So I could see I would have a thought like that if, you know, before obviously I had this tools. Now having it, I'm like, it's a no-brainer of why the mindset is such a key thing of making anything work. But what would you say to that person that may still be like, oh, then why do I not just go do those things? Why do I need to invest in anything else to build it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Let me ask you this. For working 10-hour days, like what comes up for you? How do you feel about it?
For me.
Right? 10, 12-hour days every single day. How would you feel?
Mm-hmm. Are you asking me or are you asking the viewer?
Yeah, like as if you're the viewer, right? So
As
like the average person, when they think about 10, 12-hour days,
a
they're
lot.
like, fuck, I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah,
It's
eight
too
hours.
much.
It's not
Yeah,
eight
like
hours.
8 hour workday, right? I'm
Yeah,
just saying like generally, like the average person, they hate working,
yeah,
you know, let alone working for themselves, because when they work for a boss, like they have to go to work or else they're not
yeah.
gonna get paid. But think about you working for yourself, right? Working for yourself, putting in 10-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be so easy to not even follow through with it. Like
Mm-hmm.
not even having that discipline, not being able to be self-accountable and really trust yourself within that to wake up every single day around the same time, hop on the phone same time and at the same time, right? And actually being productive throughout that entire work session, right? I've seen so many people who would work or like build a business
Mm-hmm.
where they'll just work for like 2 hours and they'll fuck off. They'll go on a walk, they'll go on their phones, they'll doom scroll, they'll eat some food to suppress themselves, right? But for me, the reason why I was able to do that was because I was learning about discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
I programmed myself to have that discipline, to have that work ethic, because you can't just automatically start working 10 hours. If you like, Tech Tutor is the tool you use, it's like the byproduct that's gonna, so like the work ethic is a byproduct of your programming,
Right.
right? If if you're already programmed to work 10-hour days, then you would have done it already,
Yeah. And another
right?
program is mindset. Just so.
Yeah. Yeah. Mindset, having a great attitude
Mm,
to like overcome adversity, overcome rejection, overcome issues that may come up in your business, which would usually, like for the most part, like stop people. It will discourage them. But
right.
like for me, the reason why I was able to be successful in business and real estate was because I was able to let go of those bad habits, let go of those limiting beliefs that would usually hold me back,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not the kind of person that likes waking up early. I fucking hate mornings, right? I'm not the kind of person to have a strong work ethic, right? I grew up lazy. All I wanted to do was have fun. I was the kind of guy that would just party all the time and never work, never take care of myself,
Yeah.
right? But ever since reprogramming myself and letting go of a lot of the negative baggage, that's where I had the breakthrough
Mm,
of seeing 10-hour days as just normal. Like
mm,
it was normal for me. Like there was no resistance.
good one. I should
There
put.
was no like there was literally nothing holding me back,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's pretty much.
I love it. And I'm right. That one is cool. Like 12-hour work days is normal. I'm putting that in my technical, but um,
Mhm.
I'm like taking notes as I'm doing this podcast. Um,
Yeah.
but that's really it. That's you see, it's like I'm still learning, and I'm gonna go put those things to then build that mindset. Because yeah, I have days where I do, um, what is it, from 8 a.m. to like 11 p.m. I don't know how many hours that is. Um, but same thing. I used to wake up at like 11 or noon or something, and barely do anything. I would wake up at 12 and then take a nap at 3 from 3 to 5, and I was just like sleep like 16 hours a day, you know.
Yeah.
um and no, you're 100% right. And obviously it's funny because now, knowing what I know and knowing what you know, we clearly see it's the mindset creates the reality and creates the outcomes that we want. But I remember before using these tools thinking that there's a secret magical activity or something that magic, like the point of, here's the thing, it's like I hear, people say get rich quick scheme, whatever, and I'm like, do you know the most amount of money that Elon Musk made in a single day? Do you know what would you guess is the highest amount of money that Elon Musk made in a single day? What would you think, John?
In a single day.
To guess.
That's a
What?
good question. I actually looked up Jeff Bezos. How much do you make per second? You know, it was
Um,
around like 100K or something.
okay.
Elon Musk probably like 100 million. 100 million per day, or like a billion.
So no, so the most he made in one day, not what he makes every day. Let's see if we can get it.
200 billion.
200 billion in a day
200 billion.
is like only four.
The stock could go up.
But look at it. We're
How much? 62. That's a fuck ton of money, bro. Like,
$62 billion. And I did the math. It comes down to 700 something thousand dollars per second. Almost $1 million a second. Meaning, even if you made $100,000, it would take you like over 7 years of saving every penny to do what he did every second. So you should want to get rich fast. But the thing that actually makes you not just get rich, but to sustain the wealth, you see, I don't want to get rich. I want to become wealthy. The difference is, one, you get rich, and how many people have become rich and lose it all? But the wealthy, it just accumulates. And really, the foundation of that wealth accumulating is a foundation. Think of it like a building. When I talk to people who are architects or builders, the idea that you just start building on dirt and just build 12 stories, it's like they'll just laugh at you. They're like, no, you need to have the footing, you need to have the foundation. You can't build anything, right? If a wind comes, it like blows, right? But a lot of us in business, when we first started, we were just building on sand. John going 80 grand in debt, that was like building on sand, not doing the
yeah,
prior. There's like no footing. And so it doesn't matter how many books or courses you take, what happens if you build on dirt? It just keeps collapsing. And
yeah,
you want to say something?
yeah. Let me add to that too. Like you look at lottery winners, right? They'll win like hundreds of millions of dollars
Yeah.
and they'll lose it all in 5 years, right? That's because they literally got an entire skyscraper handed to them that's on sand, right? It's on sand. And then like what the sand is, that's their programming, like their mindset,
Mm,
right? They're so used to like not making money, working a regular job, living like paycheck to paycheck,
right.
and all of a sudden they get a huge amount of money,
Mm,
right? The first thing that comes to their mind because of their foundation is how could I spend it? Like how could I spend all this money and like live like an amazing lavish lifestyle? It's
mm,
like, oh damn, I'm good for life. I'm never gonna lose it.
mm.
Lo and behold, 5 years later, the entire skyscraper got like detonated, like the towers fell down,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But like you look at a person like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, guys who have made a ton of money, like millions, hundreds of millions, they literally worked their way up, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at them from like childhood to where they are now, they literally built a foundation,
Mm-hmm.
right? They built the confidence, the ability to manage money, right? The ability to persevere. That's all programming.
Yeah.
right? And the average person doesn't have that because
Yeah.
we should talk about this too, Mayor, like the 0 to 7, like how if you're living in a household where your parents never made a lot of money,
Mhm.
that's your foundation right there. That's your cap. But you look at Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or even Donald Trump, they were around people at that age that talked about money, finance, business, overcoming adversity, overcoming fear, taking risks,
Right.
right? Like failing isn't in his vocabulary.
Yeah.
Giving up is not in their vocabulary. Working 3 hour days isn't in his vocabulary,
Yeah.
right? It's just automatic for him,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
what's cool with Technotutor, we literally have those tools to not only like build our foundation, but also find all the missing bricks, like the broken foundation, and rebuild it and
Yeah.
fix it,
Yeah. Like go
right?
into
Really
that
powerful.
whatever. Yeah, 100% very powerful. It's like we have the tool that no one else has, by the way, right? They have the tools of how to build on top of the foundation you have. But again, like John said, if in the first 7 years you didn't get it, like good luck. But we have what we're sharing with you are the tools to go and change all the stuff that happened the first 7 years that's causing everything else. It's like, think of it like, imagine, I remember my cousin had the Windows XP, right? You remember, it was a long time ago, but you remember Windows XP, like what that looked like, uh,
Yeah.
right? But
Old
imagine,
one, right?
so,
Yeah.
huh?
The old one, right?
Like the first one, I think that was it the first one, but yeah, very old one, right?
Yeah.
But now imagine installing the latest like Photoshop or I don't know, Word document or something like the newest thing on that software. What do you think is gonna happen? Like the computer probably gonna smoke. Like
Dude,
they're
it's gonna blow up, bro. It's gonna
yeah,
blow up. It can't handle it, bro.
exactly right.
All the data, you know?
Right. And so that software, think of that Windows XP, whatever, that software that you install programs to, that's the thing we get in the first 7 years. And I was from a third world country, so for a fact that didn't happen, you know. But a lot of people here, there's a reason that less than 1% of people make over what is it, 60%, 80% of all the money being printed and made, you know. And it's like all the information's out there, all the mentors have been out there, all the courses always been there. Then why is it that not many people make it? Is because no one in history have found a way to go and actually change that foundation. They didn't know how. And the tools we got access to, I mean, the guy who created the technology passed away, but it's like that's really what he spent his life creating. And I mean, his processing ability was 1,500 words per minute and 90% comprehension. Like, you know, like he studied that
Yeah.
and he created the tool to allow people to literally become geniuses, become equal to the Elon Musk or the Warren Buffetts and so forth, right? And I want to ask you this because, yeah, like John has a lot of cool stories uh, and obviously it's like we would be here for hours and days and
Bro,
weeks,
like
but
years, bro.
years, like, yeah,
So
exactly.
much to talk about, man.
But,
I
but
can go on forever.
right,
Yeah.
so but let me ask you this. So you had the 30K there, and we'll do another one where you can share all the success of how you use it in other things too. I remember literally my dad's friend. I helped the guy go from making 30K a month to like almost 200K a month using Technotrend. And I was getting only $15 an hour. So maybe I should do it for myself.
Yeah.
But now let's say, beyond real estate and all the stuff you've done, what are like have you noticed in other areas of your life, whether it's your relationship with people, your productivity levels, like other areas, where else did you see that these tools actually impacted you or uh, made things change?
Yeah, yeah. Great question, dude. There's so many different areas that like technically help improve on. Like not just finances, right? Because for programming is you can work on every area you want. Right? So for me, yeah, so many areas where like relationships got better, my communication with my family, my health has gotten way better as well. Started eating much cleaner, exercising a lot more and just really be more like health conscious. And yeah, yes. I guess what direction you want me to go? Like what anything specific, like
No,
relationships or
no, it's just for I want people to see like
oh
this
yeah.
really gives you the foundation to change any area of your life. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So pretty much the fundamental of the thing that tech and Twitter improves on is your ability to like process like information and also develop that emotional stability. Right. I'll give you an example for relationships with my family, right? My dad, I used to have a really bad relationship with him. I had anger issues towards him. Like we would always fight, argue back and forth. And no matter what happened, we would never come to a solution or like some kind of like there will always be conflict no matter what. It will never get resolved.
Hmm.
And I remember there was a time where I told him that I would never love him
Yeah.
when I was 8 years old,
Wow.
right? And then the entire time I never even like I forgot that I said that, right? But like
Hmm.
from third grade going on to 2021 before I got tech tutor, I still had the hatred towards my dad.
Mm.
Like, even though I tried to like have a better, I actually consciously tried to like have a better relationship with him and just try to make things work, right? Because we're adults now. But there was something that got in the way, you know? And then when I was doing tech tutor, I was able to bring up a lot of memories from the past. And what came up was the memory where I told my dad, like, I was, hey dad, I'm never gonna love you again. Like,
Mm.
because we were like fighting, fist fighting and stuff. I'm like, Dad, I promise to never love you again. Like,
Wow.
promise, right? So, of course, when you make a promise to yourself, you're gonna fucking keep it, right? So, I kept it unconsciously for over 10 years. And from there, like, my dad would still have so much conflict. I would still react to him. I would just never understood him, like, ever. Until I used Second Tutor. Right when the memory came up, I forgave that point, and what I did was I had a conversation with my dad.
Hmm.
I had a conversation with him and just went through all the times we were mad at each other and just resolving it. Right?
Wow.
We were able to just have like a real conversation about like the unresolved conflict,
Hmm.
right? But that was the we were only able to have that because I became emotionally stable to even bring those conversations up.
Mm.
Right? And from there, we talked about it, gave each other a hug. Ever since then, like our relationship has gotten so much better. Like we literally talk about like so much shit, like politics, you know, like
Yeah.
the drama with my mom and dad. He's like talking shit about my mom. I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're right. Like just like messing around with him. Like
Yeah.
I see him as a friend now. He's like the homie.
Yeah.
And not just my dad, but like my brothers too. My little brother, older brother, we would always have conflict growing up. But, ever since, I became emotionally stable, like we're good now.
Wow.
It's just clear communication.
Yeah.
And there's so many more things, I got into like life insurance sales as well. I built a whole team of sales agents, got them to 100K months in 4 months. We can definitely go into that more for like a part two or something, go more into detail for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, better relationships, better health, way more confidence. I highly recommend you guys to watch the very first interview that I made with Pedro. It was on confidence. Like you'll see like my mannerisms. It was like
Yeah.
all loopy, all giddy and shit, like not very composed. I was still kind of unstable still.
Yeah.
But you'll see the difference compared to that one to this one. Right?
I'll,
Major confidence.
if you send me the link, I'll put that in the description. Just
Yeah.
you could watch it too.
Yeah,
No,
you'll like it, bro.
no,
You'll
I
like
mean,
it.
these kind of podcast testimonial type of stuff. I remember doing some 4 years ago, and you could see how I was like jumping all over, like fixing my shirt like every 5 seconds or doing all that stuff versus now it's like it genuinely like I don't care if people watch it to the whole thing. Most of it is I want to hear the story because I know that inspires me to go help more people, but also
Yeah.
people have watched it till this. I mean, if you watched it till this far, that means there's something within you of you still want change, right? Whether you have, maybe you have technically and you want to go to the next level of it, or maybe you don't have it and you're like, what the hell are these guys talking about? And you can reach out to learn more as well. I'll put all the links of where you can reach out to us in the description. But what would you say, I guess, to the person that is maybe struggling in the sense of um, their financial, it's like every month they're like behind on bills or not catching up to their rent or whatever, and having like maybe baby mamas they need to take care of, and they're like, damn, I don't have money for this, and I don't have money for that, and I definitely don't have money to invest in myself to go to events or do anything like that or make any progress. Or maybe they're in real estate and they're like, I'm not breaking through. I've been in real estate for, I know guys for over years that are still like not really making, they definitely don't have $30,000 a month. What would you say to those people that are going through that struggle right now? I just want
Yeah, yeah,
to say.
yeah, for sure. I will say for if you're going through the same thing like over and over again, nothing's changing, like you gotta make a change. You know, like something has to change because if you're like if nothing changes, then nothing in your life will change. Right? Even for the ones who want to make something happen, like do something different, like there's so many people that would go through, let's say, money issues or go into debt, right? They'll do something, they'll try to change it, but then they'll time loop, right? The same thing happens over and over again,
Mm-hmm,
right? Consider that that's because you're programmed that way. Like you're programmed that way, you're programmed to be broke. You know, it's true, right? Even though it's, you know, I know a lot of people hate to hear that, but you're programmed to not make money. You're programmed to do the same thing over and over again, to not have good habits, you know, to have poor relationships. And with Tech and Tutor, that can really change that because every single thing that has happened to us and just in our lives in general, it came from how we were programmed from the ages 0 to 7. Because that's pretty much your like your 0 to 7 is directing you without you knowing, like whether you like it or not. Like
mm-hmm,
through your belief systems, your habits, the way you think, the way you speak, the way you move, your mannerisms, the way you make decisions, everything.
mm-hmm.
So I would encourage anybody that's in that situation or just anyone in general, if you guys are on the fence about, you know, tech and tutor, or if you want to make change in general, then I would consider reaching out to us, just having like a one-on-one conversation. You know, we'll talk to you, learn more about your situation, and see if we can possibly help. It wouldn't hurt, you
Yeah,
know, because I know for myself, my life changed drastically like the past 3, 4 years. Like I'm forever thankful. And you know, even though I took so many different like programs, courses, mentorships, nothing worked until I used Tech and Tutor to really actually fix that foundation, develop a strong foundation for myself.
yeah.
Right? So if you want to have a strong foundation, reach out to us.
Yeah. No, well said, man. And I know it can definitely feel uncomfortable reaching out and all that stuff, but we're not like these other people you see that create similar stuff to this, but they just want to sell every single person that reaches out. Like for us, we actually want to see where you're at, like how we can help. Like we have access to a lot of different resources, different people, different audios, different just anything that doesn't matter who reaches out, we have something for them to get to that next level, right? And for those who really want to then take it serious and really 10x or more, then yeah, obviously technically it's like a no-brainer, right? I mean, for me, I was able to get technically with a single mom. We came from a third world country. Like my dad making what was it, $17 a year or something crazy.
Wow.
We made that happen, and within what 5 years of it have done $1 million in sales, over half a million in profit. Spoken at events, you've seen it, and literally a lot has changed. And to me, the pain of not changing became greater than the pain of me learning about tools like this. And I was the type of person that would buy every single thing that was in front of me. And what I'm grateful for is never going into the mindset of, oh, nothing works for me, everything's a scam, blah, 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 blah. And never changing the mindset of, no, I know if I just keep going, keep getting access to the next thing, eventually I'll come across something that will help me. And I was lucky enough to come across the right people like John and I that told me, hey, instead of you buying all this more bunch of stuff, let me just share with you with the right tools where it's like you'll save a lot of more money too. Because when you did the like people don't realize, like even if let's say you go buy other courses and somehow make some money, how much are you going to spend on learning about taxes, getting the accountants? Did you know more than what is it 90% of accounts that people get, they either fill out the information wrong for them, whatever, so they have to actually end up paying more taxes, more fees to the IRS. So all of that costs a lot of money. Learning how to budget, how to manage money, how to like there's a lot of different costs that comes with the mindset of trying to be cheap. Like I tell people the fastest way to make $10,000 a month is find $10,000 worth of stuff to buy. And it sounds ridiculous, but I tell people this because now I've done it, so I know what it takes. Is like to be a millionaire, you have to be millions of dollars in debt, or as in like actually having spent that much money. Billionaires are people who are billions of dollars in debt. Think about it. Jeff Bezos has 1.6 million at this point, 1.5 million because they got rid of 100,000 people because of robots. But let's say 1.5 million people, even if they pay those people $50,000 a year. Let me do the math. What is that? 1.5 million. And obviously, they have a lot of executives, a lot of people they pay six figures, seven figures. But let's just say they only pay them. So 1.5 million times $50,000 a year. That's over $7 billion. Or wait, $7
Wow. Yeah.
billion dollars. So that divided by 12, what is that?
Jeez. It's like he's spending billions to make hundreds of billions,
Right?
right?
Do you know how much Amazon made last year? And obviously, Jeff Bezos has a bunch of different things going on, but Amazon revenue last year, what would you guess?
Over 100 billion, like 150 billion, 612 billion. Holy shit, dude.
Six
That's
hundred billion dollars, right?
that's great. Yeah.
So it's like I'm not saying you're gonna make whoever's watching this that you're gonna make $600 billion. Who knows? Maybe you are. But wouldn't it be worth to have the tools to make 10 million, to make 20 million? Like it really, when you have the right tools, those are not big numbers. I remember it was to me $1,000 was a big number, but it's really possible. And any last words, John, you want to say? And again, I'm gonna have my links in the description, John's links in the description. Reach out, especially if you resonated with the story that John shared. And my story is very similar, and I have videos on my channel where I share my story and everything too. But any last words, John, to those who are like literally right there and they're like, shit, I don't have the money. How can I even what's funny is they're just assuming that whatever we're saying is expensive and they're not reaching out. And then
Yeah.
what if what if the stuff we're saying doesn't even cost much? Like you would miss out just
Yeah.
not reaching out. But yeah, what would you say to the people?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I would say is what would your future version of yourself do? Right? What would your multi-billion dollar self do? Running multiple businesses, having hundreds of thousands of employees, right? You have a wife, a kid, a beautiful house, amazing car, you're living an amazing life. Like if you were in that person's shoes, like what would you do? Like based on everything you heard from this interview today and everything you know about your current situation, whatever that decision is, make that decision.
Ooh,
Get technically it. Right.
yeah,
Change your programming,
yeah.
right?
And your
Otherwise, you're going to go into a constant cycle of trying different courses, trying different programs, hoping and praying that things will work out for you. and 5, 10, 15 years down the line, you're gonna be broke. You're gonna regret it. Right? Either take the right action now, take that risk, and go all the way with it, or just continually hope and pray, do the wrong things over and over, and create the least ideal future for yourself. So the
Well,
choice is yours.
yeah,
You choose in the end.
awesome. Change your programming, change your life. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it, and we'll definitely do a part two. So look out for that. And yeah, man, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing everything. And again, there's a lot more we could go into, but people can always reach out and follow us on Instagram and our social media. And yeah, thank you for watching
Yes, sir.
and reach.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me, and ready for part two, man. Part two coming up.
Let's do it. Have a good one,
Yes,
everyone.
sir.
Bye.
All right, peace.